Hello world, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. It's January 2nd, Friday, 2026 here in just outside of Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. Anyway, this is our introductory video to our YouTube channel, The Maple and Mango. This is my wife Vilma, that's her Canadian nickname, and I'm Aaron. Thanks for joining us, and I'll just pass it off to my wife for a moment here and then I'll get back.
Hello, magandang araw po sa inyo. Good day to you all. We created this channel that we can show you how we live here in Vancouver and how we live in the Philippines. Some of the channel you will see is some of Filipino cooking by Aaron because he wants to try and eat Filipino food. And he wants to try to do the cooking, and I will show you some of our cooking or some of our activities, outside activities, like I like to go for a walk or a hike, and we can show you the landscape of Canada because we live in a beautiful place called beautiful British Columbia. And Aaron will show you and show to you the Philippines, how beautiful it is, the people, the country, and everyone there. And you can see us, how we grow and how we can communicate you all, how we love and take our daily life in our video.
Yeah, thanks, sweetheart. Further to that, yes, so cooking is going to be a major part of this channel. With my wife's help, I must add, it probably won't be just me cooking, but us cooking together. But I'm going to try to take a lead on that too. And as I learn more and more about how to cook Filipino food, I'll probably be a little more independent. And like my wife said, yeah, we live in British Columbia, beautiful British Columbia, in Canada, just outside of Vancouver. And there's so many great things to do here, and so many things we have access to, whether it be food or shopping and restaurants and stuff. But the nature, the trails, the parks, nice places to go for walks and hikes, the river, the ocean. We're on the coast, the west coast of Canada. But so we'll show stuff like that, and one of the main focuses we're jumping in on here is to cook Filipino food. So I'm a picky eater. I love my wife's cooking. She makes a fair bit of Filipino food, and I like 8 or 9 out of 10 dishes that she makes. But I can be a picky eater, especially when we go outside to parties and stuff where there's Filipino food. She's pretty good at telling me what I'll enjoy. But I think it might be like Brussels sprouts. When I was a kid, I could not stand Brussels sprouts. And of course, my parents would get me to sit at the table and stay there until they're all gone and I've eaten them. But now I love Brussels sprouts, and I think it'll be the same if I just try with Filipino food. And as we cook the Filipino food, you used to like shrimp paste and fish sauce, right? And now we can modify the cooking a little bit. So, we'll find a way to make it work. And then, of course, being a married couple, my wife and I are both Christians. She's Roman Catholic. We might, get into a little bit about how that works together. I love that about my wife. Our second date was going to church, right? And that was pretty cool. Anyway, so there's that, and I'd like to learn how to speak Tagalog or Filipino. There's several dialects in the Philippines. How many are there, sweetheart?
I can't remember.
Quite a few. And so that'll be part of it. And our travels to the Philippines. We were there 13 years ago, was my first time. And then 3 years ago, and we're going again very soon. So we'll be sharing some of that adventure. And, anyway, and my dream is to live in the Philippines part-time or full-time. But in the shorter term, that's a long-term dream goal, is to be able to travel there more often and just document here on YouTube and on our website the journey for that. And so there's that. Do you have anything to add? Like, oh, for instance, in the Filipino culture, asking someone if they've had something to eat is a big deal. And could you tell us how that goes?
Okay. In our culture, if you visit our house or our village or some other parts of the country, food is the main thing they can offer you, or water, because I think it's part of our culture to offer you a food, because maybe you are hungry or you're thirsty, and that's one thing we can offer. We say, kumain ka na ba? If you want to offer water, gusto mo ba ng tubig? It means, would you like to drink water? And I think that is one thing that we might not have money, but we can offer you food and water. And I think that's one thing that we people can offer to the world. Offer water and food to drink, because I think that's one thing they can bring them wherever they go. Oh, I've been to the Philippines and they offer me food and water, even I'm not part of the family, I'm not part of the culture, I'm not part of their village. So in our country, we offer you food and water, even who you are, what country you came from, what race or color you are. We offer you food and water. First thing you come to our house.
You know, and like when we go to these Filipino parties and events, you know, there's so much food that you can't possibly eat it all. And everybody at the end of the party, before we go home, everybody gets together and packages up different parts of the food, and there's enough to take home, and that seems to be a big part of it too, right, sweetheart?
Yes, we call it Sharon, because Sharon means you bring the leftover from the party, so that when you go home, if you're hungry and the next day you don't have something to eat, you have the package of food from the party that you can eat, and you're happy. Happy tummy, happy life, right?
Yeah, right. And you know, when we went to the Philippines 13 years ago, sweetheart, it was a life-changing experience. And I just want to add that that's part of the motivation of all this, is just being, as a Westerner myself, being involved in the Filipino community, both here and having family abroad because we're married, has been a life-changing event. And one of the biggest things, and we'll talk about it more in another video, and maybe you could say a little now, is what really struck me is there's a lot of respect and blessings, right? And one of the things is your family looks after you when you're little, and you look after them when they're old. And I know that doesn't have much to do with cooking, but I just want to say I've really enjoyed being part of the Filipino culture, and I think that's part of why I just want to embrace it so much. And food is a good start.
Yes, always food is a good start. And we're gonna end this video now.
Okay.
And we'll show you how we go day by day, week from week, and month from month, and year by year. Thank you.
And paalam, how do we say that?
Paalam po sa inyo, at magandang araw sa inyo.
And what does that mean in English?
Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you and have a good day.